Good morning and welcome to Kefalonia.
Yes, we are in a very sunny and warm Kefalonia. Don't be fooled by these fleeces and coats we've got on. We are heading to the caves today as part of our excursion.
This morning then we woke up around about 8 a.m. We were feeling a little bit worse for wear after last night's festivities, shall we say. And as we were waking up, we were docking in Kefalonia and it was beautiful.
Yes, we opened the curtains this morning and we were greeted with a spectacular view.
We got ourselves ready and headed up to the buffet because our excursion was leaving at 9 o'clock. So we didn't have very long. Now, neither of us were feeling hungry at all.
No, but there was a good selection. We did spy even some hash browns here on Celestyal Journey, so that is a plus, and I will be trying those during this cruise. But what we did grab was a couple of coffees and some juice, and we took them outside to the aft of the ship to enjoy those views that we spoke about earlier.
It was a beautiful experience, just sitting at the stern of the ship, enjoying some really breathtaking views. We then had to quickly get ourselves ready, back to the cabin, picked up our bag and everything that we needed for this excursion, and then we had to meet in the main theatre for 9 o'clock. It was really busy in there.
Yes, there are obviously lots of excursions going out today, and it is Easter Sunday here in Kefalonia, well, everywhere, but so there's not that much open, so going on an excursion was a wise choice, we think.
We hung around in the main theatre for around about 10 minutes just while everybody was getting themselves together, and then they called our excursion down to disembark. We headed down to deck 3 where we disembarked the ship.
Walking off the ship, we scanned our cruise cards and then headed across what seemed to be quite a long pier. Then we were met by lots of different coaches. We found our coach number, which is coach number 2, and our fantastic English-speaking guide. We jumped on board. We took a very scenic drive around the coast of Kefalonia and then headed into the mountains.
Our tour guide was incredibly knowledgeable, gave us lots of facts about the history of the island and the towns that we were passing through. It's been a great eye-opening experience.
And now you join us at our first stop on the coach tour, which was to see those caves. Again, that's why we've got these hoodies on, because it was very cold down there and very wet.
The caves have got a cafe which fortunately is open and toilet facilities. We quickly headed down because we wanted to be the first ones in the queue because there are a number of excursions taking place today.
Once inside the caves, we were greeted by what seemed to be a prehistoric landscape. It was fantastic. Huge stalagmites, huge stalactites, water dripping everywhere, and Dom even spotted a bat.
And those stalactites are huge, and considering they take 100 years just to grow a centimetre, they've been there a very long time.
One word of warning though, this is not for someone who has accessibility issues because it can get very slippy inside and there are lots of steps. And this is not the only cave at our excursion, so keep a lookout because we're going to head to some more.
We're now just waiting for the rest of our group to come back from the caves. We're going to hop on the coach and head to our next destination.
Well, we have just come out of our second cave of the day, and this one was even more spectacular, but for a completely different reason.
After we last left you, we got on the coach 15 minutes and we arrived here at Melisani Cave Lake. Absolutely incredible. We were expecting and we were warned that there might be some hefty queues, but fortunately we only had to wait around about 4 minutes until we boarded our boat.
Yes, I think we arrived at the right time because standing here now, the coach park is absolutely packed with vehicles and the queue is forming and getting bigger and bigger. Now descending into the caves was an experience in itself. We went down a tunnel that was man-made once these caves were discovered for the locals to take tourists on a small boat ride.
Each boat is only small and holds around about 14 passengers. It's not a mechanical boat. It is rowed by a human being, and wow, what an experience. We got on our little boat and off we went into the clear blue crystal waters. It was stunning.
And now this cave is open to the sky and there's trees and blue sky right above us. In the deepest part, the cave is 39 meters, but majority of it is pretty shallow, but you can see all the way to the bottom because the water is crystal clear.
So we were taken out across the open area with the sunlight blazing through that open top, and we went into a cave that was enclosed with stalactites and pigeons.
Now, this part of the cave was really tight, and our guide had to pull us through with his hands and a string along the wall in order to get the boat through there. But once again, once we were into the closed part of the cave opened up again to reveal a spectacular scene.
The boat journey only took around about 10 minutes, but wow, what an experience, and I'd happily do it again.
This cave was much easier to get out because it is just a slope up and down, so it is easier accessibility wise, and it's definitely not as slippy. And then that was it. You join us back at the top of the entrance to the cave, again in beautiful blue sky, blazing sunshine. We're having a fantastic time.
Fortunately, there is a little cafe and souvenir shop as well as toilets at this stop, which is great.
I think we've got 1 or 2 more stops now before we head back to the ship.
After a short drive from the caves, we've arrived here in Agia Effimia, and it is beautiful.
Yep, once again, another fantastically beautiful place on this trip. This is our last stop on this excursion, and it's a little beachside town that looks typically Greek, and it is beautiful. We've just had a walk around, walked along the pier, seen some fish. It is a lovely place.
We're going to head back onto the coach now, and we should be back on Celestyal Journey for lunch. And seeing as I missed breakfast, I'm feeling a little bit hungry, so I can't wait to see what the offerings are like.
Of course you are. Now, we've just been to visit one of the most photographed beaches in all of Kefalonia and all of Greece.
The beautiful white beach with that crystal clear blue water was spectacular. It's a little photo stop on our way back to Celestyal Journey. It was really busy with about 8 coaches full of people trying to scramble and get the best shot. Fortunately, we managed to.
Yes, thank goodness for that. Yeah, there's lots of people here, but now this is our final stop, and we are on our way back to the ship, hopefully in time for lunch.
We're going to take a different route back to the ship, and it's supposed to be really beautiful and pretty and scenic, so we're looking forward to some great views.
Well, we are back in the cabin after that fantastic excursion. You've seen the lot with us. The 2 caves, that fantastic beach, and of course walking around that unique Greek port.
It was a great excursion, really enjoyed it. We were off the ship for about 5 hours. Our tour guide was filling us in with lots of little snippets of information and history as we were moving from one destination to another. Really enjoyed it and highly recommend it.
Now, what we didn't realise was Kefalonia is such a big island. It took us just over an hour to get back to the ship. So yeah, it definitely does take a bit of time, so it's worth the coach journey to explore. We would thoroughly recommend this excursion because we've seen so much.
Unfortunately, on the way back though, we did miss quite a bit because we were sat on the wrong side of the bus. Along these windy roads, there were sheer drops, some beautiful little bays, and unfortunately we didn't have the best view.
No, but I think if you're scared of heights, you'd be great to sit on the side of the bus we did, which was the left side of the bus when looking down the aisle. If you're sitting on the right, you get all those fantastic views. When we got back to the port, we did take a little bit of time to take a look at the ship, get some photos and some footage of Celestyal Journey in all her glory.
After a quick photo stop, it was a case of heading back on board the ship. Again, no problems at all. There were no queues, absolutely nothing. And before we knew it, we were in the cabin, dropped off our bags. And as we said earlier, we were a little bit peckish because it is Easter Sunday today and a lot of excursions were going on. A lot of passengers were off the ship. Lunch was open until 3 o'clock. So we got back on the ship around about 2:05 and we quickly headed to our assigned dining room, and wow, were we in for a treat.
Now, because it is Easter Sunday, something different is occurring on the ship today, and that is buffets for Easter. Yes, there's a special buffet in all of the restaurants just for Easter instead of the usual lunchtime menu.
We were quickly shown to a table by the window, which was lovely. We were offered some wine. I had a glass of Pinot Noir. Tom had
Pinot Grigio.
And yeah, it was lovely. Nice little spot at the front of the ship. We then went up to the buffet and wow, were we impressed. They had a great selection of different cold cuts, salads, cheeses, breads, and that's just to start.
So first of all, we chose some starters. We had a bit of salad with some cheese and some of that tzatziki dip. Wasn't it fantastic?
Really nice, refreshing salad, great selection. We definitely had our fill.
Then it was on to our main course. We headed back to that fantastic buffet and tried so many different things, including some chicken, some pork, some lamb, and even some Greek kebabs.
And yeah, I think we did overindulge slightly because wow, was it a great selection, and those pork kebabs were to die for.
There was also a great selection of desserts and fruit available, but by this time me and Dom were absolutely stuffed, so we didn't partake. How good of us.
So for a first lunch on board, yes, it was a little bit different than traditional main dining rooms. We've got to say we really enjoyed it, and it was great to have a nice little selection, and who doesn't love a buffet?
And then after dinner we headed out onto the pool deck, where we spent a couple of hours just relaxing as it was time for sail away at 4 p.m.
The weather has been beautiful, and it was just lovely to sit out on the top deck, grab a nice refreshing drink, and just enjoy the world go by as we were departing for our next destination of Dubrovnik.
And wandering through the ship on our way to the sun deck, we did notice that Celestyal do put on entertainment through the ship, even on port days. So there was a Greek band on and a DJ in the indoor pool area.
And the roof was also open, because here on Celestyal Journey it's got a retractable roof, which makes a great destination regardless of the weather.
And that's it. So after enjoying a fantastic sail away from Kefalonia, we are now en route to Dubrovnik and about to get ready for this evening. Well, good morning, and last time we left you, we were just about to get ready for our evening.
Tonight was Elegant Night, and this is clearly displayed in the daily planner that gets delivered to your cabin every single evening for the following day, and for us it is in English.
There is a really relaxed vibe on board, and when we went out in the evening we noticed that lots of people were still wearing very much casual clothes. However, me and Dom had decided to wear some chinos, a shirt and a jacket, and we felt for our restaurant in the Smoked Olive that worked really well. But the vibe across the ship, as I said, is very relaxed, so it's up to you what you want to wear.
We did think that we were twinning slightly because we were both wearing pretty much the same outfit,
but we went for it anyway.
We worked it.
So we headed straight to the Smoked Olive restaurant at roughly around 7:30 in the evening, where once again we were quickly shown to a table, sat down, presented the wine menu, where we then ordered our drinks. We both went for the same drink this evening, the Pinot Noir.
Priced around about €6.50. Here on Celestyal they've got a great wine selection. Some wines are priced by the bottle and others are priced by the glass. And the Pinot Noir that we had last night and the night before was really nice. We also had another bottle of still water, again priced at €3. They do offer standard water as well at no additional charge.
It wasn't long before our waiter came to take our order. Now the menu this evening was rather Greek in style, which we didn't mind because we wanted to try some new foods. We're on a Greek cruise line, so we thought, right, let's give these options a go. We both went for the consommé soup to start, which is a clear soup with vegetables inside.
It was full of flavour. I was really impressed with just how delicious it was. When it arrived, it was a clear soup with a few bits of vegetables floating about in it, but my goodness, I don't know what they did to it. It was delicious.
Our waiter did encourage us to try lots of different dishes today because he wanted us to make the most of the menu, so we then went for a second starter. I went for what was like a rolled cabbage with rice and lentils inside. It was fantastically tasty and completely surprised me.
I decided to go for the goat's cheese salad, and again it was very nice. I'm not the biggest lover of goat's cheese because sometimes it can be just a little bit overpowering, but it was lightly grilled or fried. The salad and the dressing that accompanied it was fantastic, and I would highly recommend it.
So it was then on to our main courses. Following the theme of trying as many things as we can, we decided to go for 3 dishes between us. I ordered the lamb that came with beans and potatoes. This lamb was super tender. I really liked the taste. It was a very tasty bit of lamb.
And I chose the duck à l'orange, and again really nice, some great pieces of duck on the plate. It came with red cabbage, which is a favourite of mine, and yeah, I cleared my plate. Very, very good.
And then for the centre of the table that we both tried of, we had a moussaka. This moussaka was the best out of all the 3 dishes for me. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
It was very tasty and a great sized portion as well.
Now we couldn't decide what to have for dessert, so we said to our waiter to surprise us with 2 different options, and one of the options he brought was a Greek taster plate with 3 different Greek desserts, and the second was a very indulgent chocolate cake. It's probably the best chocolate cake I've had on any ship we've been on.
It was very good, very dense, very rich, full of chocolate, and yeah, I could have eaten more than half of it because we did share.
And to go with all of that, we also had a little bit of ice cream.
The Greek desserts were equally as delicious, and so far on board this cruise, the food has been really impressive. Unlike our first evening on board, where the dinner was very efficient and quick, I only managed 1 glass of wine. This evening it was a little bit more of a leisurely pace, and we did manage a couple of glasses of wine as well.
Now, after dinner had finished, we thanked our waiters and headed off to reception. We did this because we wanted to find out about how we check our onboard spend. Really essential now that Celestyal have changed to Celestyal Pay, and the only way to find out currently is by going down to reception and checking your bill. It's a really important bit of information to know, because if you do want to track how much you're spending, just pop to reception and they'll print that out for you.
They were more than happy to do this for us, and currently, as Tom said, it is the only way to check your onboard spend.
Now, as tonight was elegant night, there was also a welcome speech by the captain that was happening in the theatre. So after we left reception, we accidentally really got ushered into the theatre without really thinking about it, as well as having a photo taken, to have a seat and see what the captain had to say. On the way in, there was complimentary drinks provided, so me and Dom both had a glass of champagne.
It was very busy in the theatre. We managed to get a really great seat up on the top level with views directly over the main stage.
Now, we watched the captain do his speech and he introduced all of the senior crew on board, so it was really great to see who's working on board this ship and what their roles are.
After the captain's welcome, we did head to the Blue Bar for another one of their fantastic cocktails.
Now, once again, Celestyal do a fantastic alchemy cocktail menu. All the cocktails in this menu are priced at €15, and let me tell you, they are pieces of art.
I decided to go for a Celestyal Discovery, and wow, I cannot put into words just how impressive this experience was. Daniel dipped my glass in some caramelized sugar and just created this fantastic, impressive piece of artwork. The skill and the artistic value of these cocktails cannot be underestimated, because wow, not only are they delicious, but they are beautifully presented and definitely a showstopper.
The cocktail I went for was the Dragon's Touch. This was much more delicate, smaller, did remind me a little bit of a porn star martini. I think that was because it had the passion fruit, but this time it was a dried out passion fruit placed on top. It looked absolutely fantastic and tasted even better. Now, by the time we'd finished chatting to Daniel and Charisma, who were the bartenders in the bar, and drank those fantastic cocktails, it was once again time to head back to the theatre. Tonight's show was called Cabaret.
Sassiness. Celestyal Cruises do attract an international audience, and once again the introduction by Teresa, the cruise director on board, was done in multiple languages, and again it was so funny and entertaining.
Yes, and Vladimir joined her on board and did even more languages. Now, usually on cruise ships that have an international flavour, going through the languages can be a little bit boring, but that is not the case here on Celestyal. It is really entertaining and part of the show.
The entertainment team here on Celestyal Journey have been fantastic, full of energy, full of enthusiasm, and we cannot help but laugh.
Now, the show tonight was a musical review style show with dancers, acrobatics and singers all performing well-known musical numbers that centred around a cabaret theme. Think Chicago, think burlesque, think Moulin Rouge, that type of style. We thoroughly enjoyed it, and some of the acrobatics were amazing. At one point, one of the dancers launched herself off the stage while the male dancers caught her. That was exceptional. There was also a guest violinist as part of the show, so that added another additional element to the show.
After the theatre bit of performance, we made our way to Cafe Nation just to have another little drink. We sat at the bar, chatted to a few of our fellow passengers, and yeah, just had a really great experience. Again, the team in there are so much fun, really personable and friendly, and so far on this cruise, every crew member we have encountered has always remembered our name the next day.
Well, tonight when we went into Cafe Nation, the crew already knew what drink they were going to make for us, because behind their bar they said to me, "Are you having the Cosmo from last night?" And it was already making it before I even had a chance to answer. So yes, I was.
It's been great customer service on board so far.
After spending some time in Cafe Nation chatting to our fellow passengers, like Dom said, we then headed up to the Horizons Disco just to finish the night off with one more drink. We sat at the bar area tonight in Horizons. We didn't partake in any dancing, but the venue was absolutely packed, particularly a lot of Greek dancing tonight because there is a lot of Greek passengers on board. There was a group there that was in their national dress, and of course they had to do some Greek dancing.
There was a great atmosphere up in the Horizons bar, everybody in good spirits. Unfortunately, we only stayed for one. We were controlled this evening,
Yes.
because we knew tomorrow was going to be an incredibly busy day for us.
Yes, so we then headed straight to bed where it was time to go to sleep because we are off to Croatia in the morning and our first time ever in the port of Dubrovnik.
Fortunately, the clocks did go back an hour, thankfully, because I think we definitely need it.
Yes, that error was very welcome.
So tomorrow we are in a new port in Dubrovnik. We haven't pre-booked any excursions. We're going to try and get ourselves into the old town and find our way round independently.
Yes, Celestyal Journey is here for an extended stay. One of the things that Celestyal do pride themselves on are their extended stays and immersive experiences in port. So we're actually here till 2 a.m. One of the latest stays we've ever done on a cruise.
We've also got a lovely little spa treatment book that we booked on embarkation day, and then we're going to see how the rest of the day and evening pans out.
We might even try one of Celestyal's speciality restaurants. So make sure you do tune in to our next episode in Croatia.
Thanks for watching our day in Kefalonia here on Celestyal Journey. If you've got any comments or questions, just pop them in the box below and we'll get back to you. If you'd like to support us in creating future content and receiving exclusive benefits, we're also available on Patreon and through YouTube channel memberships.
Daily throughout our cruises, YouTube members and Patreons receive exclusive videos.
Thanks for watching. Bye bye. Thanks for watching. We've got lots more content available on our YouTube channel, so press that subscribe button. If you're interested in receiving daily updates, we're available on most social media platforms. Just search for Tom and Dom Travel.